Welcome, everybody, to the episode 3 of the Damn Sports Podcast. Hope you guys had a great day today. Very productive, got things done. Just, all around a really, really, really good day. That's what you want every day. Kind of those days where at the end of it all, at like 8 o'clock at night, you're kind of just sitting there like, yeah, I got a lot done today. It was a very good day. Just chill out and not have to worry about things you didn't do or things you have to go do because you got stuff done. You had a very good day. That's what everybody wants. That's what I want for you guys. I appreciate that. Today, I personally had a alright day. It wasn't anything crazy. I had to babysit. And when I wasn't babysitting, I was watching football, really. I'm watching a lot of football stuff, just getting ready for the season. Conditioning for us starts on Monday in Broward County. So, just trying to get ready for that. Just be ready. Can't wait to get back on the field. It's what I've been wanting to do for a while now. So, I'm really excited. Wish I had coffee today, though. Really tired. Not gonna lie. Mostly, I've been trying to stay in shape too for football, with working out and stuff like that. I just got finished with my workout about an hour ago. I went for a mile run. Did 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 25 pull-ups. I do that every day. Stay in shape, keep ready. Works my upper body and lower body, obviously, with the running and the squats and the pull-ups and the push-ups. So it's a good all-around workout. So I like to do it. Helps me stay fit, stay active. Feel good about myself too. That's the biggest thing why I feel working out has really helped me. Because before in like middle school and stuff, I was like this short little fat kid, as well as in high school freshman year. But now that I've started working out and trying to stay in shape because of sports and everything like that, makes me feel better. So I'm glad I've done it. Feel better physically, obviously, and as well as mentally. I don't feel as tired. I don't feel like just groggy and all. You know what I mean? Just I feel good about myself. I recommend everybody stays in shape and works out. It just feels better. You don't have to be like some crazy lunatic trying to go crazy, but at the same time, it's good to stay in shape. It's good to be healthy and just kind of be right and feel good. Well, enough about my day. Let's get actually into the sports part. I'm going to start with the Cincinnati and Cleveland game on Thursday night, with Cleveland winning 35-30, which is pretty good. It's obviously a good day for Cleveland, but I'm going to talk about Cincinnati first because I think they have the most upside. Even though they lost, it shows how much they did fight back a lot in this game. They were down by a lot pretty early, but they got themselves into it and just slowly worked their way back into the game. They were down. They were outscored in the first quarter 7-3, 14-10, 7-3, and then they actually won the fourth quarter 14-7, trying to get their way to come back. So they really fought late, but it was too little, too late. But we can see the upside of obviously Joe Burrow out of LSU, the rookie, with 316 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's great to see this from him because this is what Cincinnati wants. They want him to see what he had from LSU and everything like that. So he's definitely proved himself, and he's showing that he can be a great quarterback in this league if he can just stay healthy, stuff like that, keep growing. It's going to be the biggest thing is staying healthy for sure, though, especially with Cincinnati's line isn't the greatest, as we saw with premier pass rushers like Myles Garrett. He just constantly got back there. Burrow, even with non-Myles Garrett, they had to double team him, and on one-on-one they still get around him with other guys, and he's just constantly under pressure whether it be linebackers or D linemen. So it's the biggest thing for Cincinnati right now is to get some more linemen, get him better protection so he can actually sit in the pocket, look through his reads, make his progressions, just make his throws. Because we saw, obviously, with this game that he can still make throws under pressure. He can still move around the pocket, navigate, and still make that throw. But you definitely rather him be safe and chilling in the pocket and just make his reads, because he's definitely smart. He's got the IQ that you'd want from a quarterback, and he can just make those reads downfield. And he has the arm, too, obviously, to make those big throws. So, super accurate as well. As we saw even on the run, he went running to his right, threw a laser in the back of the end zone. So he's got what you want. You just need an O-line to keep him safe and keep him healthy, which is going to be the biggest thing for them for sure. We also saw from this game that Burrow very much likes to pass to his tight ends, so that could be another potential investment for Cincinnati. Get some more receiving tight ends. Drew Sample isn't horrible. But he's not your ideal guy. You want to get some more receiving tight ends, maybe from the draft or stuff like that. You could also get bigger tight ends to help block, do a couple other things as well. The rushing end, though, Joe Mixon had 46 yards on 16 carries. And he also, Joe Mixon is a multi-dimensional back. So he also caught 4 balls out of the backfield for 40 yards. So he had about 86 all-purpose yards, which is definitely something you want to see out of your running back. You don't want a one-dimensional guy unless it's like Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry can still catch the ball out of the backfield, but Derrick Henry is also Derrick Henry, so he don't mind him just being one-dimensional and running people over all the time and just keep feeding him the ball. It's a bit different. So, but yeah, for this team, you definitely want some multi-dimensional backs, especially because you can give Joe Burrow more targets to pass to and just all around be better as a team. We saw Tyler Boyd definitely come to his own in this game with 7 receptions and 72 yards and a touchdown. So Burrow's definitely found one of his cooler targets he wants to give it to and just make plays and stuff like that. As well as I would like to see AJ Green get a lot more love in the passing game. Don't get me wrong, he still had 13 targets. They were trying to give it to him. He just wasn't catching it, or he was completely locked. Just how it is. It's AJ Green. He's the best receiver for them on the field, so you have to kind of respect that. So they put their best corner on him. So it's going to be a bit hard for them to always give it to AJ, but you still need to find ways to give AJ space and get him open so you can work around him, because he's definitely the guy you want Burrow passing to, because he is getting old. So if you're going to use him, you got to kind of use him now as he's still here, because he's not getting any younger. He's going to be leaving soon. He's getting around his early 30s and stuff like that, so he's going to start to possibly regress soon. So you know how it is. Besides that, it was a pretty good game out of Cincinnati. Besides their defense, you can't give up 35 points to last week's struggling Cleveland offense that really couldn't get the ball moving besides the first drive against the Ravens. Don't get me wrong, the Ravens are still like a top 5, top 10 team in the league, and their defense isn't anything to be messed with or anything like that. So you can't really blame it too much on Cleveland, but still, you need to be able to clamp up and get that Cincinnati defense beefed. So you can't just be getting outscored every game, because don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow is nice and their offense is pretty good, but it's not like a Kansas City offense where you can know for sure you're going to score every drive. You just need defense to make one stop, so they're not there yet, but they could be. I just need to get it going. On the Browns end, though, Baker didn't have a horrible day. 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. You want to see less picks out of him, especially against a kind of shaky Cincinnati team, but you kind of have to take that from Baker because his IQ still isn't there yet. Don't get me wrong, he's obviously a smart player, but he still makes some dumb reads, passes in double coverage a lot for no reason. So he still needs to work on a couple things, but Baker could have at least somebody in the league that could be pretty good. Obviously, as a quarterback, there's a reason why he was picked number 1, but definitely needs some work. He's still not there yet, but he'll be there soon for sure. Cleveland did find, I think, their offense for this year, which is through Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Their dangerous dual-headed back duo, with Nick Chubb having 124 yards and 2 touchdowns and Kareem Hunt having 86 yards and a touchdown. So don't get me wrong, Cincinnati as well, they've been notoriously known for not really stopping the run well, especially from last year, and they really haven't beefed up their D-line anything absolutely crazy, so it really hasn't changed. So it could just also be just a matchup for them, but at the same time, I think Cleveland needs to run through them and get their backs going so they can really set up those play-action bombs that Baker really likes to do, and just give it to Beckham, give it to Landry, even Hodge. You can give it down there and just get him going, you know what I mean? Beckham had a good night, though. 74 yards and a touchdown. always want Beckham to be up there and doing what he is. There's a reason why he was paid as much as he is, and considered one of the top receivers in the league. Landry didn't have anything crazy, 46 yards and 2 targets, but still, if you have Odell having 74, you're not mad. Kind of spread the rock around, though. He still gave it to Hooper a couple times. Hodges had it. He was giving the Kareem Hunt in the backfield. That's why he was picked, because Hunt is also another versatile back that can run for 100 yards out of the backfield as well as get 25 yards through the air. So he's definitely a guy that you can consistently and reliably throw it to. So gives a new dimension to the team and gets them going. Cleveland's defense also needs to kind of step it up a bit too. Don't get me wrong, they didn't have a horrible day and they didn't do bad, but you can't have Cincinnati torture you the way they did. Joe Burrow is a nice quarterback, as we've seen, obviously, but he's still a rookie. You kind of have to, you guys should maybe not have your way with them, but you guys should at least slow them down a lot more than they did. Don't get me wrong, they were doing well in the beginning, but when it mattered most, Cincinnati was coming back and they could have almost won that game, but they didn't. So you can't be too mad, but at the same time, you want Cleveland's defense to just be a little bit better. There's nothing anything crazy. It's kind of hard after you trade Jabril Peppers and all that kind of stuff, but you definitely need to pick it up a little bit and get better on the defensive end. You know how it is. With concluding that, we will actually get into probably the game you guys have been talking about the most. Heat-Celtics game on Thursday when Miami and Boston went to overtime, actually, with the score being 106-101 and Goran Dragic being the top scorer with 25 points. Bam having a great night. That's probably the biggest thing about that team right now, and the biggest thing about that game was Miami coming back and winning this game, the Thursday game. Oh, yeah, the Thursday game. Sorry, that didn't go to overtime. That was the Sunday game? No, Tuesday. There you go. So let me go back a bit from the last podcast. I forgot that wasn't happening. My bad. On Tuesday, Miami and Boston went 117-114 in overtime, and the big thing was, again, Bam. Bam had the play of the night with the block on Jason Tatum to seal the deal and win the game for Miami and kind of just give them that first win over Boston that they definitely needed to get that pace rolling and just kind of go out there. Dragic had 29, Butler had 20, Jay Carter had 22, Bam had 18, Tyler Hero off the bench does his thing, has 12. So they're definitely, Miami's offense is definitely doing really well. Tatum still had 30. You also had Kemba with 19, but Kemba was shooting inefficient like he was before. Marcus Smart's still playing great on offense, hitting 6 26 points. Jaylen Brown's doing his thing. It was hard. The Celtics really had a lot of guys doing well, but they still couldn't pull out the game just because the Heat's defense just clamped up when they needed to and just did what they had to do to win the game. That's what Eric Spoelstra's teams tend to do a lot. So it's kind of what you expect out of them, and what you want for them to keep going to. Hopefully, for them to win this series, they kind of have to keep that same pace. Just clamp up on D. If they're maybe down the first half, but they can always fight and come back. If they have that X factor with Bam, they can just give it to and hopefully win the games and stuff like that. So that's the biggest thing they need is the Heat to just keep doing what they're doing because it's obviously working. Just feed through Bam is the biggest thing. And then Thursday night, like I was saying before, the Heat come back from a 17-point deficit and win that game when a lot of people at half were like, oh, this game's probably going to be over. It's whatever. Don't worry about it. Heat just didn't show up today. No. Actually, the Heat decided right after halftime to go, okay, you guys have Daniel Theis, and you guys are switching everything on pick and roll. Okay, we're just going to feed through Bam in the post and just oop it up to him as well. And that's exactly what they did, which led them to outscore the Celtics 37-17 in the third, which later on basically won them that game. with that big with that third quarter rally that just gave him that lead and gave him that 8-point lead, and they just kept going at it. They just ran with it. It's what really won them that game. That third quarter was a big thing for them, mostly, especially with Bam being that catalyst with 21 points. He just went off in that third. They just kept feeding him, and just that's what won them that game. And then you saw the frustrations out of Boston getting constantly just broken down like that, and everything like that as well. Bam ended with 21. Butler didn't have a crazy night, but he played defense, obviously, does his thing. 14 points. Jay Crowder had 12. He had some big shots, nothing crazy. Dragic had 25. Duncan Robinson, this is the game Duncan Robinson was there for. He actually played well and did his thing. He had 6 threes, 50% from the field, as well as 3 because he only shoots threes. Killing only didn't do bad, 2 for 6, 1 for 4, which you would think a little bit better, but he also he was in big foul trouble, so that's kind of why. I think as well. He wasn't really able to get into a groove too much, but he still hit some big shots as well. Hero is Hero. He kind of had an off night, nothing crazy. 4 for 12, 1 for 8. So he didn't do anything special. He did get 11 points, so he still contributed as best he could, and he obviously plays defense. He still gets a ton of rebounds with 9 as a guard. So the Heat really just did what the Heat did and rallied that third quarter and won that game. It's the biggest thing for them. Boston, it was crazy just looking at that game and just seeing Boston like, oh, Boston just finally found it, and they're just gonna go. We're just gonna beat this Miami Heat team down and just destroy their morale. And that didn't happen. It kind of went the opposite way. Tatum had 21. Dice had 6. He was a big iffy in this game. He was just so bad. Just so bad. He just got bullied and was just getting abused on the pick and roll constantly. This was Kemba's game too. It was just Kemba's game in the first half. In the first half, Kemba was efficient. He was doing well, but after that, he kind of dropped off a bit, which you don't want to see. Marcus Smart cooled off. Only 2 from 6 from 3, 5 for 13 from the field, 14 points. Nothing crazy, but you also can't always expect Marcus Smart to have 26, 25 points. It's just not who he is. But he's going to give you defense, which he did. Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown had 21 as well. Besides that, the bench really didn't show up. Romeo Langford got hurt early in the first minute of the game. Brad Wanamaker didn't do a whole lot of much. And his cancer was their spark plug off the bench early. Went 4 for 4 from the field and just didn't do much after that. Besides that, their bench didn't help them at all. It was all the starters doing everything for them, and Brad Stevens just cut the minutes too and just gave them all to the starters basically. Besides Brad Wanamaker, he's the only one that played 20 minutes. Everybody else starting had, Jason Tatum had 42 minutes. He almost played the entire game. You had Marcus Smart playing 38, Jaylen Brown 39. Their starters were in almost the whole game. Unless you had Wanamaker in. That's about it. But yeah, the biggest thing is, and now that rumors have surfaced that Smart in the locker room was very pissed and he was cursing players out and he was getting extremely frustrated and he was wondering what was going on, how we losing, all this kind of stuff. And it was just, you could tell there was something going on in the organization, and Boston was having struggles, obviously, with this Heat team, and the Boston team looked like it was imploding. I think they'll be good, though. You have a really good head coach in Brad Stevens. They'll calm them down, and he'll set everybody right and just let them get their anger out from this game, because I don't think Boston's imploding. I think it's just they're very frustrated that they just lost when they were up by so much in this game. At one point, it's just you don't understand why or how you just lose that game when you're up by 17 on this team. You can't just let them come back in that third and just do what they did. So I think it's why Marcus Smart was so angry with him. Especially because he just seemed like Smart was the only one really giving effort out there. Don't get me wrong, Tatum was doing his thing and a lot of other guys, but it just didn't seem right. I don't know, it just seemed like in that fourth quarter, Boston almost was, they were trying to win, but I don't know, it just didn't seem like, it seemed like a half-hearted effort. It didn't seem like they were really going 1,000, 100%, 120%, just putting all into it. I don't know, it just didn't seem like it. I don't know if it was just me. I don't know. It looked like it was body to the team and just how it was. I don't know. It could definitely just be me, but just what it seemed like, honestly. Besides that, though, we have, this is being recorded on Friday. This should go up the same day. We do have the first game of the Denver Lakers series tonight, which should be a very cool series. Let me rephrase this. It's either going to be a very cool series to watch or going to be a very series to watch. Because either the Lakers are just on it and just suppress this team down and they don't care about Jokic or Jamal Murray and just beat them up. Or what I think is going to happen, it's going to be a very interesting series because now Jamal Murray and Jokic and Denver in general has just shown the league that they can be there. They are those guys and could rock LA in the mouth. Just go out there and win a good game one. And just kind of keep that pace rolling. Jokic is going to be a problem for the Lakers, I think. They have guys to strength with him, so I can't say that entirely. But Jokic was definitely going to be the big thing for this game as well. Most definitely Jamal Murray is going to be the biggest X factor. Jamal Murray is going to be the biggest X factor for them because probably they'll have KCP or Danny Green. Most likely KCP guarding him, Conservious Caldwell Pope. So Jamal Murray really got to take advantage of that and kind of just breathe into that game and just go on all cylinders and just really try to do his thing everywhere and just help the team out. The biggest disadvantage the Lakers do have, they're very top heavy with obviously LeBron and AD, but besides that, especially besides the last game, Danny Green, KCP, and a couple other guys that kind of been off, not shooting super well from the field, which you kind of need them to, stuff like that. So you want them to step it up. That's how they're going to win the series. Denver's depth is probably going to help a lot too, with Michael Porter Jr. coming off the bench, King, Jaren Grant, depending if they start him or not. A couple other guys too, like Will Barton, Monte Morris. It's really what it is. You got to have that bench come out because Denver is obviously 10 times deeper than LA is. Their LA's bench is a lot of just random shooters. Really, no real spark plug coming off the bench for them. So maybe Kuzma. That's about it. Besides that, you don't really have that guy coming off the bench that can really give you what you need to keep yourself in the game, all that kind of stuff. So you want that Denver bench to really take over and win that game. Win on those games and win those times to get them in the game or keep that lead. That's what will really help Denver win this series. Is their X factor is their bench for sure. That and Jamal Murray. If those two things perform very well, Denver has a real good shot of doing it. But you still obviously have to play against LeBron and Anthony Davis, which is going to be really, really hard, obviously, because I think you put Jaren Grant on LeBron, and Jokic is going to have to deal with playing with AD. That's all you can really do. But it's gonna be a very hard matchup for them, and I still think LA is gonna probably go to the finals. But it'd be very cool to see like a Denver Heat finals matchup. It'd be very different. 2 5-seed teams going at it in the finals. Like, who would think of that? Something like that. It'd be really cool. It'd be really nice. But LeBron and AD obviously have probably the better chance of going. It's looking like so far. It's probably gonna be LA. I want to say LA Heat right now. It'd be cool, interesting. LeBron playing one of his old teams too. You know what I mean? It'd be very cool and nice. But Boston still is in the series, so I can't rule them out yet. They still have a really good. They still have a good shot. It's just gonna be tough coming out from 2-0, but they have a good shot of still coming to the series and winning. They just need to step it up, get on their game, and go. 17-point leads. They can't blow those, obviously, stuff like that. So, but LA still got to worry about this series. Denver, as we saw, is a very dangerous team. They took out the Clippers and as well as Utah while being down 3-1 in both series. So you can't underestimate this team when they're down and fighting and clawing. They're going to do everything they can to win those games and do what they got to do. So you can't underestimate Denver at all, as we all seen. I think that's about all for today, though. think I've gotten everything I wanted to get through. Had a good talk with you guys about, your days and making sure you guys are all right. That's what I hope. I want to make sure everybody's okay. Stuff like that. I want you guys to be good. But with concluding that, I want to say thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you guys for enjoying. If you're hearing this on Google Podcasts, please give it 5 stars and your reviews. Do whatever you can to just help me grow and hopefully get us higher in the charts and do what we can to really be out there. Really trying to do something like this. I very much like this, and I want to make this something I can do for the rest of my life and make it a career in some way. Sports broadcasting, whatever it can be. I very much appreciate that. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys have a great night or day, whatever time you guys are listening to this at. And thank you. See you guys.